Hello and welcome to Arts 24. Today we're bringing you a special programme from one of the world's most prestigious performing arts events, the Avignon Theatre Festival in the south of France. This year's 79th edition showcases the best of contemporary theatre and dance with a spotlight on works in Arabic. Despite being the second most spoken language in France, Arabic remains underrepresented on French stages. Our reporter, Olivia Salazar-Winspear, is there to take us behind the scenes of this celebrated festival in the historic city of Avignon. Olivia, this is a mega theatre event, one of the oldest in Europe.
Yeah, Eve, they managed to cram in hundreds and hundreds of shows over the 3-week period every summer here in Avignon. You've got contemporary dance, drama, poetry, theatre, and plenty of spontaneous stuff happening in the street as well. Now, the festival's been directed by Portuguese director Tiago Rodrigues for the last 3 years, and he's really pushed to make this more accessible, to make theatre appeal to a wider audience, especially young people, people who don't normally go to the theatre, because I must say there's a lot of competition these days when it comes to audiovisual material, new media, that sort of thing. So he's done a lot in terms of outreach.
He certainly has. Exciting efforts are underway to bring these events to a broader audience. Let's hear more from the festival director, Tiago Rodrigues.
Since 2023, there are always performances by artists with disabilities, which is something that we want to make visible to our audiences, because we know that accessibility and inclusiveness cannot be a work only done on the side of the audience. One of the great measures we have in Avignon to make theatre more accessible to new audiences that are not necessarily taking part in the festival is that we create every year a show that travels in the small villages around Avignon and goes to visit communities and visit audience members that would not make the choice to come to the festival while they live like 15 minutes from here.
So, Olivia, since his arrival as the head of the festival in 2023, the director, Tiago Rodrigues, has pushed to make this a more international event, not so French.
Yeah, that's right. When he arrived, he invited English as the guest language, then Spanish, and now, as you mentioned, Arabic, which is a smart idea because it's a second language for many people in France, but it's also the 5th most spoken language in the world. So that means that we have work from, for example, Moroccan choreographer Bouchawizienne, her reflection on love and forgetting, which is called They Always Come Back. There's drama from the Palestinian duo Khaled Bazel. It's called Yes Daddy, a play about solitude. And then even the opening night show in the most prestigious site here in Avignon, the Palais des Papes, that beautiful historical setting. It wasn't in Arabic, but it was definitely inspired by one of Arabic literature's most famous stories, The 1001 Nights, and its protagonist, Sheherazade. That came from Cape Verdean choreographer Marlene Montero Freitas. It's called Not. Let's take a look at the show.
Well, choosing Arabic as a language at the festival feels like a strong political statement, showing a commitment to diversity and cultural exchange. Politics often play a big role at the festival, with many plays reflecting current events. Can you tell us some more, Olivia?
Yeah, that's right, Eve. I mean, current events are here this year, for example, in the case of a case that sadly shocked the world, Gisèle Pelicot, when she went to testify in the court in Avignon against 51 men, including her ex-husband, who raped her while she was drugged. She became notorious for her bravery in speaking out. Now, Swiss director Milo Rau has taken inspiration from that case for a night of dramatic readings. He's well known for dealing with controversial work, often political work. Here's a bit more from him and one of his actresses.
It's about the logic of going through trauma, almost a collective trauma, like going through a night together and maybe waking up in another world. What really stood out for me in the work, in the readings, and the staging was the universal message.
For us, it was really important to have this long process to go beyond the news story and to be able to dive in and pull out all the threads of the social realities that lie behind this news story, but also to explore all the themes that unfold, like drug-related sexual assault, marital rape, the porn industry. There is lots to say, and it needs to be done properly.
And I believe, Olivia, that performance is one of the few that is free to attend. It sounds like a powerful evening of drama. You mentioned the Off, that's the Fringe. It's actually bigger than the Inn or the official programme these days. How does it work?
Yeah, it's huge. This year there are more than 1,700 shows in the Off. It's been going since 1966, so 6 decades next year. And, you know, it's a great way for young and aspiring actors and directors to launch their careers, but you do get some established names in the Off or the Fringe as well. It's much easier to get a ticket for those plays. You can often get one last minute through word of mouth. They also have, the actors and the directors have some very creative approaches to marketing and advertising their shows, ticketing, flyering in the streets and pasting up posters all over town. They had a bumper year in 2023. They sold 2 million tickets. So I think that we can say it's very much an official mainstream event now, the Off or the Fringe, although the organisers wanted to keep that sort of informal, anarchic spirit that it started with. Let's hear from one of them.
This festival is a huge celebration of live performance, and that's sorely needed in the current political climate in the world. The idea is really to work on the diversity of artistic creation. We fear artistic creation will become too standardized. A lot of shows are short nowadays. We're talking about an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes. I'm pushing for longer plays. We also need to work on having bigger stages, and production companies need to take risks and hire more artists.
It looks really great. You've had time to check out a show in the Off. It's called Monstres in French, or Monsters. Let's take a look at that.
C'est une histoire d'amour avant tout.
Oui, mais il y a quelque chose de plus grand qui se joue là, il y a une injustice.
Oui, non, tu oublies qu'à cette époque c'est un racisme officiel, c'est institutionnel, ça vient depuis la tête de l'État. Alors tu le comprends peut-être pas parce qu'aujourd'hui le racisme qu'on vit c'est plus quotidien, plus individuel.
Ouais, attends, tu parles comme un mathématicien là, comme si tu avais déjà compris le X dans l'équation du racisme. Le racisme c'est pas une théorie, c'est concret. C'est la raison pour laquelle Willor et Daisy se sont séparés.
Bien sûr, c'est un amour contrarié par le racisme, oui. Mais le sujet c'est l'amour, c'est Simone qui le dit.
And I've managed to speak to the writer-director of that play, Monsters, Elisa Sitbon-Kendall. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, of course.
Now, this is a play that deals with identity, with shared history, storytelling, some sensitive subjects. Where did you get the inspiration from? How did it come to you?
Sure. I was very inspired by André and Simone Schwarzbart, a couple of writers who have dedicated their careers to write about their respective people, the Black people and the Jewish people. She is a descendant of slaves, and he's a descendant, and he is himself a Holocaust survivor. And in the 70s, André writes a book about slavery, and he gets criticized for that. And I thought that the topic of cultural appropriation was already very present then. It's still very present. It has always been present. And we haven't truly moved on with the topic and with the question of the legitimacy of an artist to talk about a story he hasn't lived, you know. And I thought there was an urgency to talk about that.
Yeah, and it's a very up-to-date retelling of those debates. But with those delicate issues, sensitive issues like race and religion, were you worried about the response from the public?
At the beginning, yes, of course, especially because I'm white. So I wrote the text and I pushed it as much as I could based on my experience, you know. And then there's been many rewritings of the play because it is a sensitive topic, and the goal is really to deepen these questions, is not to bring one answer, because it's a complicated topic, and I wanted to reach the right nuance. And so there's also been a rewriting work also with my team, and we try to make it as nuanced as possible. Yeah.
It's very thought-provoking material. And it's not the first time you show a play in Avignon. What does the festival represent for you as a writer-director?
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity to show your work, to get traction. You know, every day for 20 days, you show your play. You meet people, you meet specialists, but also the general public. And it's a fantastic time to be here. Yeah.
Well, Eve, Monsters is part of the Off, the Fringe, as I mentioned, with more than 1,700 plays running for 3 weeks.
Wow, that sounds like a great tip for the Off. What else have you managed to see then, Olivia? Any recommendations?
Well, I saw an extremely powerful piece of drama from Lebanese director Ali Shahrour. It's called When I Saw the Sea. It's about three women talking about their experience of migrant work in Lebanon and the injustices that go with it. I actually got a chance to sit down with Ali for an interview, so you'll be able to see that soon on Arts 24. There's also work from the contemporary dance superstar, I think we can say, Anna-Theresa de Kiesmacher. She's paying tribute to her fellow Belgian artist, Jacques Brel, in a piece of dance that uses his music but also brings in a break dancer, Solal Mariotte. So that looks to be a really exciting mashup, a blend of different styles of dance and different ideas.
OK, thank you both for all those amazing tips from the Festival of Avignon. We're going to wrap up now the programme with a look at that show, Brel. The Avignon Festival runs until the 26th of July, and Olivia is there recording a special programme for Arts 24 that you'll be able to watch next week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Puisque te voilà.